This is one of the best exercises that you need to be doing if you want to jump higher. Squatting. See, when you jump, you're mainly loading up your quads, and squatting directly trains your quads. However, the way that you squat matters a lot. When you jump, you have to put as much force as possible into the ground in about 0.2 to 0.3 seconds. And how strong you are in a squat is correlated to how much force you can put into the ground in that short amount of time. So especially if you're weak. So if you can take your squat from 100 pounds to 200 pounds, you're probably gonna put more force into the ground. However, the way you squat matters. If your 100-pound squat looked like this, but then your 200-pound squat looked like this, you didn't actually get stronger. You just changed your technique. Now I'm gonna do that one more time, see if you can spot the difference. The first squat was like this. The second squat was like this. The difference is that in the second squat, I was more hinged over and I loaded my hips and lower back more. This allows you to lift more weight, but that doesn't matter. We're not power lifters. We're trying to jump higher here. And the crazy part is the type of squat that helps you jump higher is usually what feels the hardest, what makes your legs burn the most. And a perfect way I like to work on this is actually with slow squats. Slow, heavy squats are my favorite exercise for knee health, but they're actually a really good exercise to develop your quads as well and teach you proper technique. When doing a slow squat, you wanna go really slow, and then on the turnaround, you wanna make that really slow as well. However, most people, when they do slow squats, they'll go like this. They'll go really slow on the way down, and then bounce a little bit, and then slow on the way up. You wanna do it backwards. You wanna make the turnaround the slowest part, right there. See how slow I went? I'm gonna do it again. So I'm going down, turn around really slow. And that's how you get the benefit out of those slow squats. What's crazy is making that turnaround slower made it harder, but it also trained my quads more, and it would transfer over to your jump even more. So same thing when you're doing regular squats, not with a slow tempo, right? You're going heavy, you're trying to use as much intent as possible. You still want to keep that upright posture, namely by keeping the chest up. So I'm trying to show my chest to the world, especially when I'm at the bottom of the squat. What I see when guys try to max, they might have perfect weight when they're doing their warm-ups. Then let's say I load up 315, and it looks good, looks good, looks good. Hips shift back, chest drops, and then they come up. That's because their quads are weak. Let me go back to the bottom. So here, chest down. In order to keep my chest up, my knees have to shift forward, and all the load goes right here. And from there, I have to maintain that posture. The reason that's so important is because when you jump, and you're in the bottom of your jump, right, at support of the plant leg and the block foot, your knees are very far forward. You're usually pretty upright, ton of load on the quads. Jumping from this position, you usually can't jump as high. Now, the downside to keeping your chest up is it requires way more mobility. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I worked on my squat mobility. By the way, guys, if you want me to analyze your squat technique, you can sign up for my online coaching at THPstrength.com. You'll get put in a group chat with my team of coaches who are the best vertical jump coaches on the planet, and you'll have 24/7 access to them to send them videos of your lifting technique, jumping technique, sprinting technique. And there's a group call once a week hosted by me and my coach, John Evans, where you can ask us any question you want, and tons of athletes send us lifts just like the one we're working on today, squats. And I'll give you suggestions on how to improve it. And for a short time, it is 90% off your first month. That way you can try it out, and I know you're gonna fall in love with our training and stay on. Now back to the video. So thing number one, if you can't squat deep while keeping your chest up, grab yourself these bad boys. So put them on the ground. You're gonna pick the bar up, put your heels on the edges of the plates, and now you should be able to squat deep way more easily. Now these plates are pretty thin, but you can actually use even thicker plates if needed. The downside to this, it'll load up the cartilage in your knee. So if you have cartilage issues in PFP, you might have to build your way up to this. But it is my favorite way to get more depth. And it allows you to be able to back squat with posture, which also unloads your lower back, which is a very common issue when guys try to deep barbell back squat. They get back issues. It's something I suffered with for years, but now I can squat. Literally 2 weeks ago, I did 425, ass to grass, perfect technique because of elevating my heels no back pain. Second thing that I want you guys to be doing is a bent knee ankle stretch every single day. What I want you to do is I want you to kneel on the ground, okay? And then you're gonna keep your heel on the ground, your foot a certain distance away from the wall. Depending on your mobility, it might change, all right? And then you're gonna drive your knee forward until your foot is touching the pad. Now you can do this as a static stretch or a dynamic stretch. I personally like doing reps. So I go like this, boom. Now that's pretty easy for me. So I just shift my heel back, boom, touch it, boom, come back, touch it, boom, come back, touch it. Now the front of my foot is about 7 inches from the pad. This isn't just important for squatting. It's also important for 2-foot jumping and 1-foot jumping. Look at the position my foot is in on the penultimate step for a 2-foot jump. Look at the position my back foot is in on the penultimate step for a 1-foot jump. That is extreme levels of dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion is when your toe comes up towards your shin, okay? Why is that important? It's because it allows you to lower without losing momentum. The lower you are, the more time you can spend applying force into the ground, which maximizes impulse. It's a physics equation that is directly correlated to how you jump. The higher impulse, the higher you jump. Impulse is force times change in time. And again, lowering without losing momentum allows you to be in a perfect position to apply force while maintaining rhythm and timing, which is 2 things that are extremely important for jumping high. The next thing I did when I was younger, I was doing this every day when I was like 14 years old. The reason why is because I was obsessed with squatting deep because I watched Olympic weightlifters. And Olympic weightlifters have some of the most beautiful squats on the planet. And I wanted to be like them, even though I don't have the proportion to squat deep. I did this every day. I would just sit in a deep squat like this while grabbing an object in front of me. And then over time, I will be able to shift my knees forward, pull myself into the position I needed, and then eventually I could sit in the deep squat with my heels down and just sit in this position. This is gonna sound crazy, but I sat in a deep squat for 10 minutes a day, every single day. Doing that every day for a few months made a huge change in my squat mobility. And then, once I was able to squat with good mobility, with a heavy weight on my back, and maintain posture throughout the whole lift, I was also able to maintain my flexibility. Then, my jump technique got better. Then it got to the point where I didn't need to do any of those stretches to maintain my squat mobility. As a matter of fact, I don't sit in a deep squat anymore. I don't do a bent knee ankle stretch every day, and I haven't in years because my jumping and squatting in the weight room maintains those levels of flexibility. All right, guys, if you found that video helpful, please press the like button. Helps the channel out tremendously. Leave any comment that you want. Start some discussions. I'll get back to as many of them as I can. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.